go with the audio right now. All right. Here we are again.
Yo.
The Life on Life's Terms podcast. I'm Tom Robinson. And like I always say, we are not affiliated with any 12-step program. But we do advocate them.
Chris Mandeville. We're here at New Way Recovery Center in Quincy, Mass. If you're in the South Shore area and you're looking for resources, definitely come down here. Especially if you're in treatment and you have to get kicked out of the house for the day.
There you go.
You can come down here. They have computers, all kinds of stuff, good stuff down
Resources,
here.
yeah.
Great spot.
And our guest tonight is Derek.
My name's Derek Quirk. I'm a recovered addict alcoholic, and I am not anonymous.
Yep, me neither.
Yeah, obviously we're in. Yeah.
It's causing too many problems lately, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely an advocate for removing the stigma of recovery, you know.
Yep. And I wasn't always like that.
No.
You know,
I wasn't either.
I didn't want people to know because of stigma.
Right.
You
right.
know.
Well, you know, when that whole thing was developed back in the 30s, right?
Oh yeah.
It was a different world.
Oh yeah, anonymity. Like
You
that's
had
why
to
they
have
talk about it.
Yeah.
You know.
And anonymity also has its place. Still, I'm not advocating that everybody in AA should be, publishing their names in
Absolutely.
some sort of book or whatever. But I don't think everyone should be hiding either because like you say, the stigma and all that.
I have a website actually that I found a few years back that has pictures of like some of the founding members of Alcoholics Anonymous publicly speaking, and they're wearing Lone Ranger masks. Like they have,
holy cow,
they have masks over their eyes.
Wow.
We had a meeting at my buddy Brendan
wild,
at Brendan's house.
Oh, no kidding.
Where we would research people in the book.
Oh, no kidding.
And we came across some of the coolest stuff and like why
Wow.
stories in the book were there and
What a
why
good
they're no
idea.
longer there and who that person was and why their story isn't there anymore or
Yeah.
why is this person's there now.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does have its place. I've also met people that said please, that I've worked in their home, know them from meetings. Please do not tell my family how you know me.
Right. Well,
Yeah, you got to
Absolutely.
respect that.
You know?
you have
to each his own.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. Yeah, that's right. To each his own. If that's what it takes,
Yep.
live and let live. And but I think that the value of communication and spreading understanding between not only addicts but the people that they fucking rip their lives apart, the people who get their lives ripped apart by addicts, is also important. And to do that, it's not always easy when you're in the situation to communicate with the people that you're hurting. But if those people have means to find out about what's going on and what the process and what happens, like, oh, well, normally they rip everybody's life apart, they're super selfish, and they go through this psychic change or whatever it is, and then they become like this, and they understand better, and they see there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a lot of different value that can be gained from not just keeping everything hush-hush all
Absolutely.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we hijacked this already,
Yeah.
you can
No, that's a great topic.
tell
I
your
can keep
story.
going on with that one. So thank you, Chris, for inviting me, Tom.
You're welcome.
Love the show.
Very welcome. Thanks for
Watch
coming.
you guys, support you guys. My story basically consists of, I was born in Boston, grew up in the South Shore, bounced around a lot, came from a long line of alcoholics and drug addicts. Parents separated at an early age. Didn't really, felt very lost growing up. My mother put me in sports. I excelled in pretty much every sport that I played, but I really, I got attached to soccer.
Oh,
and, soccer was a big part of my story.
Was it the flop that you liked?
Yeah. Some of those I've been watching the Cup, and it's like, really? Did it hurt that bad?
Oh, so much drama in some of that. Like,
you watch
Yeah.
soccer, then you tune in the UFC fight later on, and you're like,
yeah, or a hockey
what is
game.
going
Yeah,
on? Yeah,
no.
hockey game.
I wasn't the flopper at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, soccer did for me what later drugs and alcohol did.
Really?
Growing
No
up.
kidding.
So it was like my no matter how chaotic or what the situation was at home or at school, I was in trouble all the time. You
Escape
know,
through
That was
soccer.
like your happy place.
that was my sanctuary. I
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
call it. You know, for 90 minutes, I was just not thinking about anything but that ball and the goal. You know, and I carried a lot of anger with my dad growing up. You know, I'm proud to say today that through the grace of the 12 steps, I was able to make an amends with him, and I have him back in my life.
Yep.
And,
Nice.
you know,
Yeah, because mine was the same. Dad left early. Was still around, but
yeah, and of course, Mom fed me a lot of inaccurate information.
I hear you.
Oh yeah.
I hear you.
Some of it was true, some of it was not, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, later in life, I was like, damn, Dad, I don't blame you.
yeah,
You know, like,
yeah,
like
Well, there's always three sides.
yes, yes.
His side, her side, and the truth.
exactly,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so mom met a man out in New Bedford when I was like 7, 8 years old, and told me that we were packing up, moving out there, and that was a big move for me.
Where were you living at the time?
I was coming from Braintree.
So Braintree to New Beige.
Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah,
Culture shock much?
yeah. You know, getting picked on, getting in fights right off rip.
Oh, yeah.
Did you learn Portuguese real fast?
On the soccer field, I actually did. I picked
Oh, yeah,
up a
that's
little,
true, too.
You know,
Oh, no kidding.
that was part of the
That's pretty
reason
cool.
I got a little accepted quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, down there.
Oh yeah.
So I grew up on the West End. You know, actually, one of your former guests you had on here recently, Mr. Rosario. How are you?
Yeah.
If you're watching,
Kev G.
you know, grew up with him, and yeah, it was just like, you know, the Wild Wild West out there. Access to everything. You know, school was not really in the cards for me unless it was soccer season.
Yeah.
I would do really good in school.
And
you
and
know.
that was long before you had to do good in school to play sports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I know a lot of people that were like, "All right, you're really good, so here, we're gonna push you through."
Yep.
You know?
Right.
Yep. And that happened later down the road.
That was
in school.
before MCAS and all that.
But like, you know, I was supposed to go to Keith Junior High, and my stepfather had this idea that if we moved to the next town over, Dartmouth, that it would keep me out of trouble and keep me away from the bad kids.
Yeah.
You know, which basically backfired because
That's like a other person imposed geographic cure or what?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you know, went to Dartmouth Middle School, hated it. You know, started smoking weed, drinking, hanging out with all my New Bedford friends.
Yeah.
Going to all New Bedford high school games, wishing I was playing there, hating my school.
Oh, yeah.
Never really wanted to be a part of Dartmouth.
They probably weren't even in the same.
No,
leagues,
we used to
right?
play them. They were on our schedule, and we used to just take a beating.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, my class, like 95, I graduated in 98, 95 to 98 in that area was just unbelievable amount of talent.
Yeah.
But
In New Bedford.
in New Bedford, even in Dartmouth, my actual graduating class, I think we had my sophomore year, we had 9 sophomores starting out of 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, and I knew a lot of them guys playing against them in spring soccer growing up and stuff. So they were stoked to have me. You know, but yeah, like I said, I mean, during school, I got good grades during soccer season. And then after that, it was like party time,
Yeah.
Right.
you know. I actually was ineligible sophomore year into junior year. Mysteriously, my grades changed so that I was eligible.
Yeah.
Had a breakout year. Had D1 schools handwriting me letters begging me to go to college and play ball there for free. You know, and unfortunately, in between junior and senior year, I had failed off the team again, and I had to announce it to all my peers at Dartmouth High. And once soccer was stripped from me, and I knew that all my chances of going full ride were gone.
Yeah.
That's really where it took off for me.
It's like, all right, I'm not going to be able to afford this. I just blew probably the biggest chance of my life.
Yes.
So now, fuck it.
Yeah. I couldn't.
Strong case of the fuck it.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to a game. I couldn't read a newspaper. I didn't care who was doing what. I just wanted to just block everything out.
Yeah.
Probably anger too.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it may have came across as anger, but it was probably more disappointment in yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
But we don't know how to express that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you know, you're not going to say, "Oh, I'm so bummed that I blew that chance." No, you're gonna give me that, give me this. Let's get rid of these feelings. I don't want this no more.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go anyway.
yeah, they suck anyways.
Yeah,
you know?
they're lost, not mine.
Yeah.
You know, that type of attitude.
Yeah. The ego of the alcoholic.
Yeah. So, you know, it wasn't until, truth be told, I couldn't even watch a professional soccer game for years because I'd be watching the game and I'd be dissecting it, knowing that I had the ability to be on that field.
Yeah.
And it used to make me sick to my stomach. And,
Wow.
This is the first World Cup I've watched in a very, very long time.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that shows progress.
Yeah. That's progress.
You know, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly.
Yeah, I was good at carrying resentments, man. I carried shit around with me for years. You know, I struggled early and often. There's not even a question. I drank alcoholically in middle school, even probably before that, stealing Papa's beers and all that.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, when soccer was stripped from me in high school, that's really where I hit the streets.
But also, the way you're speaking of it, it's like you did soccer alcoholically.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Addictive.
So it's like that was your thing.
Right.
And then when that thing was taken away from you, like, you know, how things happen today, once that was taken away from you, you had to fill that void with something.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Like when we're getting sober, you know, our binky's taken away.
Yeah.
Now we got to put something, we need something to pacify us.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. And you're like a raw nerve and you got no coping mechanism.
Yeah, we just basically replaced one addiction for another.
Absolutely.
You know, now I'm addicted to these things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Red Bulls.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. When
It
early
happens.
sobriety, I drank quite a few Red Bulls myself.
It's so hard to, like, you know, we want to just have something.
Right.
You know?
Now I do coffee. Now I'm addicted to coffee.
Oh, I
me too.
vape my face off. You know?
Yeah.
I just had to go get a DOT physical. I haven't had to get one in a couple of years because you work for a city. You don't need them because I don't need to drive out of state. I just drive here and that's it.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, "Do you smoke?" I'm like, "Nope." And then I was like almost like,
You're like, "Wait,
embarrassed
do I?"
to tell her. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute.
And like she's like, "Oh, do you still do it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's looking at me like, "Yeah, that was 4 years ago." But whatever, it's the only thing that worked for me. You know what I mean?
Whatever works, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so yeah, just I was lost, man, for a long, long time. Geographical Cure was a good go-to for me. I did that endless times. You know, ended up down in Florida. Got another opportunity to play college ball, blew that.
Wow.
Came back home to the Cape, and my mother had sent me an article. They were having open tryouts down in Foxborough for the Revolution.
For the Revs, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, Mom, you know, soccer's done. You know, I think I had just done an 8-ball the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, it's just I was partying my face off, and she's hitting me with this newspaper article, and I ended up going to the tryout anyways, and got put on their farm team, and was working construction. I was in the trades pretty much right out of school, and it was very, very difficult. Even though soccer was my passion, I was so wrapped up in the party scene, in work, that it just was like, well,
Work all week, make that money, party all weekend.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Soccer? Ain't nobody got no time for that. You know?
Yeah, when I was young and working construction, well, I did fences, and you'd come home and you know you don't have any time, any ability to do really a lot of any extra project or anything. You get
Especially this time of the year, dude.
Yeah, start drinking and you get a few hours drinking and that's it.
You know,
back to work.
you get home, you absolutely beat, and then it's like,
yeah,
Yep.
you know.
That was some thirsty work today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that now. I mean, I get like 4 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep.
Yeah, you're a madman.
My girl's like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
I don't know. The alarm goes off, I get up.
Right.
You know?
Your body's so used to it.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I got wrapped up down the Cape. I eventually walked away from soccer again. I was facing a lot of time in jail, with no record, very little on my record. You know, that you would have thought that was enough to straighten me out, and it wasn't. You know, I was put on probation and stuff, and did a little bit of jail time. You know, and I remember the day I was getting off probation. So in the midst of my probation, I bought a nightclub, and I guess you shouldn't do that if you're an alcoholic. Out in Worcester, and place was nuts. And I remember the day I was getting off probation, I called my PO, and I'm like, hey David, I'm just curious. I'm like, what time do I get off probation? And he's like, he starts laughing. He's like, why? He's like, you can't wait, huh?
Yeah, right.
He's like,
right.
dude, when the courts close, you're officially off. So that was 4:30. So at 4:31, I knew what time it was.
Yeah.
But just always, you know,
Literally.
just always a mess.
I don't think I ever got to that point where I completed probation. It would be like couple weeks out, and I'd do something else and get hammered again with another 6 months or another year.
Well, dude, you know what it was? I had so much time hanging over my head that I was like scared straight. Right. But on the outside, I was like, I'm this big tough guy from New Bedford, and the street cred and the image killed me, man. Killed me. For a long time.
That's the identity piece.
Yeah,
That's it.
we talk about that a lot. That's like one of the things that we do focus on a lot is like that bullshit identity that we have to,
have to set aside.
It's who we think we are. And,
that's right.
Not even who we want to be,
or who I think you want me to be.
Exactly.
Right. You know, all the different roles I assigned myself depending on who I was with.
Yeah.
Which I'm forever grateful, and I will always continue to be to my sponsor. I have the best sponsor in AA as far as I'm concerned, Timmy DeVoy. How are you, brother, if you're watching? That man...
Take notes, because you may end up on here, too.
You should get him on here, man.
Well,
right? Hey, right.
I watched
Well,
if
he's the best sponsor, we got to get him. We got to get him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right in this very building. That man took me through the book. It's funny. I'll fast forward from my shit show on the Cape in my mid-20s. I mean, I basically, for a long time, thought that money was the answer.
You got to elaborate on the nightclub, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
431.
Bought the nice club, 431.
431. I think, but I know a limo showed up. We did not open that night. I was behind the bar, just drinking out of the bottle. I know somebody showed up at some point with some pills.
Yeah. And probation started a week later again.
Yeah. I went to some strip club later that night, and the rest is, I don't even remember the rest.
Yeah.
But again, like I was off to the races. I still, at that point in my life, had not picked up heroin. Loved the opiates. I'm an Oxycontin kid.
The pills, yeah.
Yeah, that, as soon as those things came out, we loved them.
Yeah.
But the club, basically, I had a business partner who was a bit shady, and I had to get out of that business. I basically sold it back to the guy that I bought it from. And just hit my construction company hard again, and did a lot of work as a sub for builders, and did a lot of like developments out in like the Worcester County area.
Yeah.
But again, like thinking like my whole time, like I'm thinking that if I just sell that job and this job and that job, that'll give me this amount of money. And like money was the solution to my problem.
Yeah.
In my head. And and even when I made all that money, it was like it was never enough.
No, it's funny, the finance is about your state of mind and what you know and who you are emotionally a lot. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you make a shite load of money. If you're not emotionally able to handle it, you're going to waste it and spend it on silly stuff, and you're going to be miserable. Even if you keep it all in the bank, you're going to be miserable.
Oh yeah,
it's emotions.
I was such an angry individual. Just didn't matter. White knuckling. I was just always just an angry individual. There was never enough of anything. Until I did a fourth step. Honestly, that was like the game changer for me. I started to see how sick I really, really was without even reading that.
But how long had you been in and out prior to?
I first entered the halls of AA in 2006.
So never mandated by court or anything like that?
Yeah, some of it was, some of it wasn't. I mean, I would sit in the back, get my card signed, and see you later.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days. It's ugly.
Never heard a message. Wasn't ready. Hadn't had enough pain, clearly. But in my defense, like, I also didn't really know what the fuck was wrong with me. I, thought, I used to get myself backed in this corner, and I would, be sitting with self, and I would be thinking, like, are you really that fucking dumb? Like, how did you possibly... Like, I thought it had something to do with, like, my IQ.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought for the longest time, willpower had a lot to do with this disease. I was so far off the mark with what I was up against, it wasn't even funny.
Right.
It wasn't even
You didn't know what you didn't know.
No.
Right.
No.
Like
and so, with that being said, that's why me personally today, I choose to not be anonymous. I choose to be a truth teller.
Right. Spread the word.
Because I sought out professionals for years. Even as a teenager, my mother would send me to counselors and this and that. And I mean, all these like professionals. And wouldn't you know that a drug addict was the one that told me what was wrong with me.
But also, it was once you realized and admitted that you were an addict.
Right.
You come into recovery. Like, I absolutely 100% advocate for go seek professionals, because I can't solve all your problems, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that outside help is not required for some people,
but it
or recommended.
It didn't like click until you knew what the deal was.
Right. Until I took a look at myself on the inside, not my outside
Right,
shit. I can
right.
make that look real nice.
Oh,
and
yeah.
nice. But inside, and I needed a man to literally just shatter my ego.
That's a big part of it too. Yeah,
You know, because my
absolutely.
pride, that newbie pride,
Yeah.
kept me suffering for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I say that all the time to guys like, you know, guys that I used to work over at High Point in Brockton and used to have some heart-to-hearts with some of these guys, and they're coming in like they're coming in at jail, and I'm like,
Yeah, all that bullshit machismo shit, you know?
and I'm like, will you cut the shit? Do you how do you want to get well or do you not?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you don't, I respect that. But if you do, you're gonna have to lose that whole image that you're trying to portray right now.
Right. Well, that's the thing that you wrap yourself in all these different things. Like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not this, I'm not that, and you wrap yourself out, and it's protection. It's like armor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't bear the thought of stripping all that down and just letting it go, because if someone's criticizing you, in your mind, at least you can say, well, I know who I am. I'm the guy with this and the that and who came from here and did this. And, you know, and you can feel like I'm okay. Well, the thing is, without all that shit, you're already okay.
That's right.
You're okay.
That's right.
You're a valid human being, and you don't need the imaging that you're doing to portray to feel good about yourself. You're good anyway.
But that's how that's like the biggest thing in society right now, I think, is like how we're supposed to be when all that stuff, like on all these TV shows and all this crap, that's all bullshit.
It's all
you know
false
what I mean?
belief system.
Yeah. And
It's
they
right.
got all these kids, you know, growing up with these fucked up values and of
Yeah.
who they think they should be or what they think they should look like or what society wants them to look like.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking let them be.
Oh,
That's right.
it can get super confusing nowadays too, because you got the social media,
Ugh.
and everybody's taking a snapshot of their best side and their
Oh.
funnest day, and now you're looking at your life going, no, my life ain't like this. You know, you're
Yeah.
scrolling through somebody
Take
else's.
all the fucking
Yeah.
filters
no.
out. Take all
Right.
the check-ins out. What's
Right.
the fucking real deal? What's really going on?
Yeah, what
You
happened?
know?
What's
My
going
buddy
on?
Paul, you guys know Paul Hunt.
Maybe.
Yeah, Paul.
I don't think so.
He's a good dude. He had a awesome post the other day on Facebook, and it was just all about that.
Yeah.
He, you know, and how sometimes, you know, a lot of us, you know, we all go through our own personal shit. My life
Yeah.
is not perfect. Like, people may see my inspirational posts
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but I'm a big mindset guy.
Yeah. I post
yeah.
that because I need to read
That's
it.
right, bro. That's
I need
right.
to read it.
That's
and,
right.
And if I get something out of it, I'm going to share it so that hopefully you will get something out
That's
of it
right.
too.
Yeah, well,
You know?
that's the thing. If you condition your mind every day with negative stuff, like you wake up and just watch the news every day, and then watch the news right before you go to bed every night.
Terrible.
Miserable, right?
I don't have regular TV in my house.
Oh, it's
I watch
beautiful.
Netflix.
Yeah, me too.
If there's
That's all
something
I ever
important
watch.
happens, someone's gonna post about it on Facebook. I'll get it. I'll get the news.
Yeah.
You know,
But
it's
Smart move.
but it's best if you can, you know, even if the inspirational quote or whatever is making more of a claim than you really believe, get something good into your brain. You know what I
Yes.
mean, rather
Yes.
than negativity. I believe that thoroughly.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm into. I watch a lot of, you know, Eric Thomas. I just went and saw him up in Boston, motivational speaker.
Really?
Yeah, I watch all sorts. Les Brown. I mean, I
yeah, Les Brown, I know.
because I need that. It gets
Dude, you
me
know who I
fired
love
up.
is that dude on Facebook, Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty.
Oh,
yeah.
dude,
I don't know him.
Monster.
he was a monk.
Yep.
Oh, really?
He went to monk school.
Yup.
And he
Monk
talks about it all
school.
the time. And he talks
No
about it all the
kidding.
time. But dude, the stuff that he puts out there
Yup.
is just like,
Him, Trent Shelton.
yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, the stuff is there, but it's funny, like, you know, it's almost like, you know, I've had people say to me, like, you know, geez, Derek, you know, is your life really that perfect? No, it's fucking
No.
not.
If you want to know, ask me.
Right.
I ain't got to put that
Right.
shit on blast.
I'm not gonna post my personal shit that I'm dealing with day to day. I
Yeah.
deal with it with my inner circle,
Yeah.
whoever that may be.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you know, God bless the ones who do post a lot of stuff like that. I don't myself.
Yeah.
But some people do, and that's fine too, you know. But whatever.
Absolutely, but if when for me, for myself, I'll keep this on myself. When I see the same thing over and over again, and you're not changing anything, I might have to just hit the unfollow button, dude. It's
Right.
like, all right, you've posted
Yeah.
about this 15 times in like 2 months.
Oh, when it comes down
Yeah.
to sound like everybody's complaining about
Yes,
stuff. Yeah,
yes.
I hear that's negative.
You know,
yeah,
like
that's not good.
if someone says, "Hey, did you hear about so and so or whatever?" It's like, no, I didn't. Oh, this happened. Really? Did you talk to them? No. Then why are you telling me this? Do you know this to be true?
Right.
Have you asked them? Have you hit them up
Yeah.
and said, "Are they okay?" You know.
Yeah, I don't feed into today. I don't feed into the negativity, the drama.
I have enough going on in my
Yeah,
life.
man.
I don't
like,
need
my
anybody
life
else's.
Is far from perfect.
Yeah,
you know?
mine too, man.
I mean, I'm certainly in the best position of my life. You know, through the grace of God and the people in my network, and the work that I put in. It's not easy being in recovery.
No.
At times. I mean, I should probably rephrase that. I guess today is it's easier than it was finding recovery.
Yes.
Right. I
So
thoroughly enjoy it.
you no longer have a drug and alcohol problem. You have life problems.
That's it. Luxury problems.
Yeah.
Man.
My old sponsor Brian Murphy says it. I have problems in areas that I never had areas.
I love it.
You know,
I love it. Yeah.
I have problems in like these are things that I've acquired and you know like been blessed with.
Yeah.
Right.
So the shit that I complain about, there's people praying for those problems.
Amen.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like
For sure.
you think about that, it puts shit in perspective for you.
Yeah.
Like I work in Quincy, I drive around and I see things like I saw today I was over by Star Market and I see two couples out there and I see all the stuff that's going on and what, you know, that all right, so what we going to do? We're going to and I'm just like, damn, I remember that.
Yeah.
The hustle and the bustle.
Oh,
Right.
like this time of the year,
Looking to boost
running,
something.
all nasty and sweaty and
Yeah.
not feeling good.
Yep.
It's like, and
Oh,
the guy
my
sitting next
God.
to me, my
Awful.
boss, I'm like, man, I remember that. And he's just like, still can't believe it. He looks over at me like, what?
Yeah.
Right. That was me running around trying to figure out how I'm going to get $40 or $60 or
You can't unsee that.
No.
Or forget that stuff. You know.
Yeah, that's for sure.
it's
Yeah.
it's up front in my face every day working in a city.
Yeah.
You know, and I want it to be. I don't ever want to forget how that felt.
Yeah.
Never.
Like getting told to call back in 10 minutes and freaking
I'll be there in 5 minutes, Papa.
falling asleep.
5 minutes.
Falling asleep with the cold sweats and then waking up and it's like 90 degrees out and you're like calling again. Half an hour. Call back half an hour. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then he shows up, buddy, how you doing?
Yeah. Or
Like
even
you want to murder him.
even just dude picking the phone up.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
you-
relief.
Yes,
You're like,
you feel better.
Right?
Oh,
Already,
hey,
automatic.
what's going on?
It's a fucked up thing, man, to be a slave to. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Sad.
today.
No, thank God, man. It's funny. Like, I remember going to. So that nightclub thing ended in like 2008, and I ended up having my firstborn in 2009, and relocated to Braintree, and you know, still
circle back to Braintree.
yeah, still wasn't an admitted alcoholic addict. It was suggested though. From
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
people.
A couple hints thrown out there.
You know, but I, you know, was still doing things my way, and
Oh, sorry about that.
I ended up getting sectioned to Matsy in 2012.
We talk about that all the time. Sectioned. In Massachusetts, Section 35 is a law that allows your family or friends or someone in authority to put you away for 30 days if you've become a danger to yourself or others.
Yes.
That's right.
So
Usually applies
parents
to
parents out there
that
that don't know what to do, get familiar with the term Section 35.
That's right.
Yeah, it saves lives.
It absolutely can save lives.
really
Florida, it's called what? The Marchman Act.
Yep.
I think like
there's a lot of them.
a
in
lot of different states.
Yeah.
They're coming up with, and even if it's just to give someone 30 days more to hopefully hear something or think, or
That's what it's
you
all
know?
about.
Yeah.
You know,
Like-
it's not the end all be all. It's not necessarily the cure,
Right.
the answer, but with hopes of that they get some time in there
Yes,
to hear something and maybe wake
and
up.
trust and believe they're gonna be pissed at you,
Oh yeah.
but
Look at
I'd
all
rather have them pissed at me and alive than happy
be all
with me and
pissed
dead.
off, you know, on the phone. You section me. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
I got no
Can you bring me a
cigarettes.
pack of smoke, so?
Yeah,
A couple of white beaters. You know.
Yeah, I was taken into custody in Section 35 from just
I
like an
sectioned
appointment.
myself before I knew what the hell section was.
Wow.
Right out of Quincy
Wow.
Court.
See,
Wow.
I don't willingly go to treatment.
Yeah.
That's not my MO.
Well, they gave me a choice: jail or treatment. I said, okay,
No
treatment.
brainer.
Treatment was in jail. It was at the old Bridgewater.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's where I went
So you get sectioned.
I
Family
get
section you.
sectioned, yeah. You know, hated mom.
Yeah.
Hated the family members involved. Get out of there. You know, I before I left, I had a counselor ask me what was going to keep me sober, and at the time, my son was 2. And I said, my 2-year-old. And I'll never forget that face he gave me. And he's kind of like, oh, that's not good, you know?
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
And at the time, I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know my willpower. You don't know how much I love that little boy.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
but he was one of us, and he knew
Right.
that was only going to get me so far, and so it did. And, you know, I tell a story a lot when I go on commitments. I was white-knuckling it. In my head, like, the program that I was working was like I was going over to Bayshore Athletic Club, working out like 5-6 days a week. I was going to Church of Abundant Life. I was focusing on my business, trying to be a better dad. And like
All good
literally
things.
all positive stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
but not enough to keep a guy like me sober.
Not
Right.
enough to keep untreated alcoholism at bay.
Boom,
Right.
right? So it was just a matter
It
of
works
time.
as long as it works.
Right. And for me, that lasted almost 3 years to the day. I had just done a basement out in Framingham, and I was starving, and I knew there was a 99 up the street, and I said to my cousin, I said, let's go to the 99 and get some boneless buffalo wings. And dude, I shit you not, I walked in that restaurant for boneless buffalo wings and left with a heroin habit that very night,
Really?
just like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, somebody inside there that you knew? I mean, how the hell did that happen?
It's like the story. I'm gonna go for a sandwich and a glass of milk.
right. And it's,
Oh, I see.
And
So
that's
you-
all the
Jim
guy
went-
wanted.
Poor
You
Jim.
went-
Sandwich
Yeah.
and a glass of milk
Yeah. But if I pour some whiskey in this milk, it can't hurt me.
Right. And then I
on
had
a full
another,
stomach.
On a full
and
stomach.
another, and another.
It's-
Oh, so you went in
You
there.
know?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you went in there and you boozed it up, and then you were back on the dope.
Well,
Not too
I
long
guess
after
the point of that whole thing is like, what really stands out to me is that I literally went in there for that food, right?
Yeah.
Just like we all do when we go to a restaurant, waitress come over, hey, can I get you guys a drink? You know, my cousin's like, oh, I'll have a Bud Light, Bud Heavy for my cousin. I'm like, no, I'll have a Mountain Dew, you know? And he gives me the, oh, you know, come on, you know, you had a problem with the pills, not the booze, you know, you can't have a beer.
Right,
So I'm like,
rationalization.
cosign.
Boom.
All right, just one.
The stamp
though,
came out.
right?
Thank you.
I'm like, just one, which is a fucking lie because I've never had just one of anything.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have that beer, and I remember when it came to the table, I'm like, you know, that frosty 99 cold beer, right? Goes right down. She's like, "Can I get you another?" I'm like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
I worked hard all day.
Just one.
Get me 10.
Just one. More.
Matter of fact, when you see my glass getting low, bring me another one. You know, and then like the beer's not doing it, so now we got to do Patron, and then next thing you know, we're doing cocaine in the bathroom, and then now it's like, fuck, there's a snow emergency coming that night. Right?
Oh yeah.
I got to drive back to Braintree. I'm like, there's no way I can go home like this. I need something to come down now. You know?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know, my cousin had something in his pocket.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, oh, no, not the brown though. I can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, send it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. 2 minutes later, you're like, you know
that's
what?
all you got?
Okay.
All right.
Damn it.
Yeah.
You twisted my arm.
So it's like, I did a lot of work around that night, actually, when I hooked up with my sponsor. And, like the key thing for that night was like, I had no defense.
Yeah.
That was a typical step 2 moment, right? Because step 2 is I love talking about step 1 and 2, a lot, because the insane shit that they're talking about in step 2 is not what we do after we pick up that first drink.
No.
It's the shit we believe before it.
Yeah.
Like, I can have just one. And like the whole time this is all unfolding in the booth, I actually think I'm changing my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't have a fucking say in the matter.
No.
Right.
You didn't have anything to stop it from happening.
No. Once I picked that first drink up and put it in me, I was doing that bag of dope whether I liked it or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
End of story.
Yeah, that power of choice that we lost.
Yep. And I knew nothing about this power of choice, power of control back then. This is all, I had to find this all out the hard way. But like what once almost killed me became, gave me a whole new life today, which is a blessing.
Yeah.
Because I was able to live about it and be able to talk about it and share it.
I've been told, Evan, I've learned that one of the greatest powers we have as human beings is the ability to choose our response to any given situation. And when you're in throes of active addiction, whether it be alcoholism or whatever drug you're doing, you have lost that power, and it's your greatest power. It is your greatest power. If you can decide, I'm going to bring my life this way, or this is who I'm going to be, then you can do anything. If you have no choice in the matter, you've lost. You've already lost, and when you're doing dope or whatever you're doing, there's no choice. You have no ability to respond to any situation. Mad, happy, sad. Give me the dope. Give me the booze. Give me the whatever.
Yep.
Yep, I can identify with that last thing you said. Happy, mad, glad, sad. I didn't need a reason to get high or drink, man.
Air, breathing.
Right, waking up.
Yeah, my eyes opening. It didn't matter.
So, yeah, like that night literally sent me on a 14-month suicide mission. Next day, I remember like the worst thing that happened that night was like nobody found out. I didn't get pinched for a OUI. I made it home safely, tucked in.
And
right,
that may be the worst thing to happen.
It would have been better.
Is nothing happening?
Yeah,
right.
It would have been better if I got pulled over. It would have saved a lot of near-death experiences.
It's like taking a hammer, and you can just hit yourself in the face, or you can wind up for a couple of months and fucking really smack yourself in the face with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me get down deep into the rabbit hole and really hit myself in the face with this fucking hammer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it didn't take long, man, before like I was in that position again. Once again, I was like, fuck. How did I do this to myself again?
Again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like all the stuff that I thought would keep me sober, like I had all that in place.
Right.
And here I was. There was not an issue in the world that night at the 99. Right? Bills were paid, money in the bank, money coming in from different directions. All that. And it just,
beautiful child at home.
Beautiful. Yep.
Yeah.
That's that powerlessness.
Yep.
Yep.
Extremely powerless. I
Lack
come
of
to
power.
find out that I am the real alcoholic. I know, the book talks about the moderate drinker, the heavy drinker, and the real alcoholic. And I tried to prove for years that I could moderate. And okay, maybe I'm not a moderate drinker. Maybe I'm a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
But I'm not an alcoholic. And,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because if something bad happens, I can stop.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But my
Yeah, I
track
know.
record abundantly proves that, like, I can't stop for sufficient reason. Like, I know
Right.
people that can. I hate them for that.
Right.
Actually.
Yeah.
I've
You
known
know?
bunches of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
That's more. That's the norm, really. I mean, we're in minority maybe as in society. Most people, they maybe party in college and then they don't anymore.
They grow up.
Yeah.
will
They
grow
become
up or
adults. They
they're
start
able to-
adulting.
Yeah. They're able to stop.
It's crazy, like, because I went through all this stuff. I've been here for a bit, and I'm watching it now. Like, people my age just starting to go through what I went through that long ago. And back then, them, like, damn, dude, like, really? Like, looking down on me.
On
And,
you,
and like, now I see, and it's like, oh, please let them get this.
Yep.
I'm
Oh, really?
glad
Yeah.
I went through what I went through when I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it takes whatever it takes. There's a lot of different.
But like,
tests.
people have had full on careers, like they're getting ready to retire, they have wives, kids, and it's like, boom.
Let's blow everything up.
How did
Yeah. It doesn't discriminate, man. I tell you, this journey in recovery, I think I have learned more in recovery than I learned in all my years in school.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I just, it's such a powerful disease. It is a brain disease. I truly believe that. There's facts to back that up.
Yeah. Well, it's mental, physical, and spiritual, right? So
Yeah, and I'm a big
affects all your life.
threefold guy,
Threefold, yeah.
myself. But the science behind it is literally it tells us, it affects our chemical, our dopamine, right?
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So it's like, whether people are the real alcoholic or not, if you're doing a powerful substance, you're going to get addicted to it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I've met people that just had a physical addiction. They break that physical habit, they can go back to living a normal life.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That ain't me.
However,
God, no.
if there was something in their life that was destructive enough to their identity or their psyche, that they would chase that physical addicting substance down the rabbit hole long enough,
Right.
then they would become the real deal, I believe.
Yes. Oh, I think so too. They talk about that line.
You cross that line, the cucumber into the pickle, and you
Yeah.
ain't going back to a
I mean,
cucumber.
I absolutely believe that the hard drinker can turn into the real deal.
Yeah.
Having,
The right life
experiment long
circumstance.
enough, or yes, or some.
Absolutely, because it's a disease of progression.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
I started out smoking weed. I was sticking a needle in my arm at the end. Like, what the,
What
Yeah, I
happened?
mean,
Yeah.
all my friends that are heroin addicts in recovery all started smoking weed and drinking beer,
Yeah,
just like me.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
10, 11, 12,
Yeah. The American Medical Society determined that alcoholism, of course, that's what they were studying back then because it was in the 50s or something when
Yeah.
they determined it was a disease. 53 maybe, something like that. And there's three pathogenesis, something like that. I don't know. There's three parts of it. It's chronic, means it keeps happening.
yes.
It's progressive, means it continues to get worse. And it's fatal, means it's going to kill your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Therefore, disease.
Yes.
And it's funny. I love seeing people put, posts up. Like, I seen something about it was a story about talking about how much Narcan has been used and how how many ambulance runs and all that. And someone chimed in and was like, "Just get rid of the Narcan. It's natural selection." Like,
Yeah.
and
I
then
love
and
those
then I just
people.
read below it, and I was like, "Yes."
Right.
People just like, really, dude? Like, Obviously, you have no idea. No one in your family's ever struggled. But
Right.
then I see the profile, and the guy's got no picture, and there's no info. So it's just someone trying to troll.
People online are vicious. You know, and if you were in the room with a guy like that and it was the real deal, it's like he's probably not going to really have that attitude. He's just online with us.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Internet thug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's created a whole different breed of people.
Oh yeah.
You know,
well, it's
the stuff
they enjoy it.
The stuff that kids go through now. That shit used to be on the playground. Now it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
dude, that's for the whole world to see. Now, you know,
Right.
like
A whole different ball game, man.
It used to be, you know, you don't talk behind people's back. You talk to someone face to face. Now it's like there's no face to face. This is, you know,
no. I am to I am.
right.
You know,
Or
DM to DM.
comment on somebody's, you know, status or whatever, and tear them apart.
Yeah.
Behind,
You know, for
Computer
me, for this alcoholic, fucking hit me with a bat. Don't hurt my feelings though.
Right.
I'll take the
yeah.
physical shit.
Right.
Like
Right.
kick my ass. I'll
Yeah.
take that. But don't like talk about me. You know.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of that, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
You know,
There really
and
is.
being a parent, I'm worried about my kids growing up.
Yeah.
You know,
Me too.
because it's
Me
it's
too.
completely different.
yeah.
Complete, like
Oh.
nothing resembles how it was when I was a kid.
Well, it's
Oh, hey,
funny,
Nothing.
let
They
that,
don't even know what a fucking home phone is.
No.
let that dude be home with his son or daughter on the floor ODing,
Right.
and have the guy come with a Narcan and say, no, I don't believe in that stuff. See
Right.
that happen.
Right.
Right.
Right. Oh, what do you have, Narcan? No.
No. It's natural selection. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I see a lot of that crap online. So I'm back on Facebook as of beginning of the year, and I had taken a break for a couple of
Yeah.
years. and
Yeah.
It's just like I don't.
Bro, I'll type out a whole entire comment and be like, I can't say
Say
that.
it, dude. I'm like,
Erase.
Derek, just because you think it doesn't mean you have to say it.
But I think typing it out helps me.
It does.
Okay, yes, I definitely could rip this guy a new ass, but I won't.
That all the time.
And erase it.
I do it. Yeah.
I'm like,
Because I
"Babe,
don't want to be mean. I
I'm
don't
like,
want.
"Babe, should I say this? Is what I'm about to say. Should
Yeah,
I say that?"
yeah.
She's like,
No.
Well, you know, I start going through when I get into that. I start going back and forth in my own mind about, well, his point, my point. A lot of times, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, just forget it. I don't need to be doing this.
"Yeah, it doesn't even matter."
Let me just close this app right now. You know.
Yeah.
So what's going on now?
Yeah, so we got a lot going on now. So
Excuse me.
how much time do we have?
See, we're gonna be wrapping soon.
Yeah.
So
Almost went an hour. So
yeah, so I ended up getting sober through the grace of God. April 12th, 2016. Multiple overdoses. Prior to that, couldn't stop. Had sufficient reason. DCF in my life. My kid's mother was gonna leave me. She had enough. You know, and customers angry all over town at me, and just I had burned every bridge. I did a really good job digging myself a hole this time around, and I got the opportunity to go to a place down in Delray Beach, which saved my life, Epiphany Treatment Center.
Nice.
Yeah, just some, Rabbi Jenny out there. Just a lot. There was a lot of hands in my recovery. For the first time, I can honestly say that I didn't follow my plan.
there you go. You became willing.
I something happened, dude.
There
You were
go.
pretty badly mangled, is what happened.
I was, yeah.
Gift of
that was-
desperation.
Yeah,
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, I knew I was powerless. I had known that for a while. The drugs told me that a long time ago. But it was a 12-step treatment center. They forced us into meetings. It was like PHP setting. It was great down
What's
there.
PHP?
Partial hospitalization program. So it was
okay.
like I ended up going to a detox down in Miramar. They transported me to Epiphany in Delray, and I entered their partial hospitalization program. I lived in a mansion down in Delray. They bussed us back and forth to the center. We did groups all day, good group of guys.
Wow.
And there's some great, legit ones down there.
And they were doing it for a long, long time, you know.
And then there's some
And then
not so legit ones.
Something happened. I flew down there in September, October this past year to try to surprise them. And I guess the owners had separated. Something had happened. There was a falling out, which was a little heartbreaking to hear. But I'm still in communication with some of the staff there, and especially Rabbi Jenny, who was played a huge role. She's opening up a Avatar. It's called a treatment center out in Arizona. She's doing big things. She's more into like the whole, and she's actually a Massachusetts native.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's
She moved to Arizona, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. She's look her up, Rabbi Jenny. She helps a lot of people.
Cool.
But yeah, she's more like spiritual, holistic healing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. We have no monopoly on anything, man.
Yeah, it was a great
they-
experience, honestly. You know, I ended up coming back home after phase 2 down there. Was trying to get into sober living up here, and it's kind of funny how it happened. I had something lined up to go to up here, a house. The day I was supposed to go, the guy, and I won't mention his name, was like, "Oh, you can't come here," and he didn't really give me a reason why, and it was just like shut it down on me.
Oh
I'm like,
God.
I'm fucking homeless.
When you're
right
that
now.
vulnerable, it's so tough,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, Ma, drive me down to this guy's house right now because I'm going to do something. And she's like,
gonna beat his
you're
ass.
not. Yeah, that was my mentality.
Right.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like 5 weeks sober,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And I said, actually, no, bring me to a meeting. And that was like the first time I had used a meeting for something.
Right.
A
And I
coping
went.
skill, a different coping skill.
Yeah.
And
You know what you call that?
Incredible.
A spiritual awakening.
yeah,
Because you did something. You were in a
Incremental.
situation you had been in before.
heat of
but
the moment.
But you did something completely different than you normally would have done.
Completely.
Act of willingness.
Educational variety.
Yep, the educational variety.
You know?
That's
Yeah.
right. Beautiful.
I walked into a meeting and raised my hand and started crying and said, "Look, I'm homeless. I was supposed to go to a place, and you know, I think your sponsor actually, what did you say, Brian Murphy? Yeah,
Yeah.
He
We probably shouldn't use
he
his last
directed
name
me
so
over
much.
to this parking lot. Does he have a sober house?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he couldn't get me in his, but he was going to get me in one. He said to come here on a Thursday night. There was a good meeting here, right? And he never met me,
Right.
which was
Doesn't mean that he won't help.
Hey, Brian
which was
Murphy.
cool. I never met him.
Okay.
But if you're
Sorry,
out
B.
there, thank you, or to let him know thank
Yeah,
you, because
yeah.
it all worked out.
Yeah.
He
And I met
such a
my
good guy.
sponsor that
Let me
night.
tell you.
And the
Oh,
guy-
really?
Yeah, and I did like this building is pretty special to me. My mom came. My mom's a Learn to Cope mom.
Yeah.
Right? She comes to
Great
Learn to
program.
Cope on Tuesdays.
All right.
I may have seen her there.
Yeah, shout out Mom Dukes if you're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just you know, I did a lot of my step work in this building, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
so I'm forever grateful for the center. You know, but what's going on now is like, so I got myself working in treatment. I worked for the Arch program, the late great Cat Michael.
Oh, yes, yes.
You know, she gave me an opportunity to work for a DPH funded program in Brockton Hospital and Good Samaritan. And it was through there. My office was in Matsy, so when we weren't in the hospitals, we would be
Yeah.
on the unit, setting guys up with community support program and such.
So
Nice.
you're a recovery coach, right?
Yeah, that's my
Oh,
title.
it's a
Yeah, and
beautiful
I
thing.
actually just got state certified. I am one of the few. I know my boy Jack Harper was
Yeah.
001. Yeah.
He's the
Yeah, the
balls.
first fully state certified coach, man.
Why do they do that? Why do they place zeros in front of that like that?
I don't.
Just a side.
Instead of just putting one.
Just putting one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why. It happens. It happens on podcasts too, and I just was like, well, I don't know why, so I'm just not gonna do it.
We're gonna have 9 because they know we're gonna have 999.
Yeah,
and
but
then
I
some.
just put 1, 2, 3. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, the
Whatever,
field,
sorry.
the recovery coach field's blowing up, and
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it works because it's peer to peer.
Yeah.
But I got some experience working under Cat Michael, which was absolutely huge. That woman and I were extremely close.
She's passed away.
She passed away, unfortunately. She was like my mentor.
She affected a lot of lives.
She helped thousands of lives, man. If I could help a fraction, I'd be doing something.
Right. Exactly.
She's 30 years in the industry.
It's a beautiful
There'll
thing.
never be another Cat Michael. But if it wasn't for her coming into my life or me coming into hers, I wouldn't have been able to find my why in life, right? And it was through working in treatment that I realized that this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Do you do it full time or you do part time?
So I just started my own company called Revelations Recovery, and we specialize in sober living. We're opening up our first men's home down in New Bedford. It's called Joseph's House. It's named after my son.
There's a link on the LOLTERMS group page.
Awesome. Yeah, Joseph's Recovery Home is the name of the page, but it's Joseph's House. We started a GoFundMe. The recovery community has been huge. We've been getting donations.
Wow.
Because
it's crazy.
first and foremost,
Wow.
It's definitely a business venture.
Yeah.
It's a business.
At the end of the day, it's a business.
Lots of people have taken advantage of that. I've seen some really shitty practices happen.
So I've had a lot of people come to me, and I'm going to be really careful when I say this, with concern, right? And I appreciate it all and respect it all, but it's like the reason I'm getting involved in opening up sober living is because I've lived in them, right?
Right.
B, I work in the field and I've had to refer people to homes. There's a huge lack of quality sober houses.
Right.
Right. Well, it's easy for people to ignore. It's if they just look at it as a business and there's no heart in it, there's no skin in the game. You're not an alcoholic or whatever, or it's easy to let it fall into basically like they become like crack houses almost.
Yeah.
With drugs and everything in there.
It's like they're in trafficking, human
Yeah.
trafficking.
You go in there as an alcoholic.
Let me get you
learn
in
how to
here.
do heroin,
Give me
learn
that
how to
money.
smoke crack,
You
learn-
fucked up. Get out. I'm keeping that money. Next.
Right.
Next.
Hey, so
next.
listen, I could have very well been one of those patients
Yeah.
that was broken down in Delray.
Right.
That shit was happening. That feds were coming in
Yeah.
and cracking down. That was the beginning of the end down there.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the patient brokering and I
got
call them
off
recovery
it. I got
hunters.
Oh,
off it,
okay,
all
yeah.
that. And I've had friends die down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had friends die up here. So it's like, I understand, like, a lot of people's concern. And, I'm not doing it for the money. I've made 6 figures for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Money was my higher power my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got me nowhere.
Right.
Right? What got me somewhere was working with other addicts and alcoholics. Am I gonna make money? Sure, I am.
Yeah.
Of course I am.
If the house pays for itself, and maybe I can do something else and help more people, cool.
Exactly. That's the main thing is carry a message of depth and weight. Help these people. Right, so that they recover. I don't want them staying in my sober house for a year.
Right.
It's get them better, keep them moving, get them back into society, get their families restored.
So this is going to be a structured house.
Very structured.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
very. We've done our homework with all the houses out there.
Yeah, like it's got to be like this shy of treatment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be
listen,
intense.
we're addicts and alcoholics. You can't put a bunch of us together and not expect shit to happen.
No.
It's gonna.
No, and it's all brand new construction, inside and out.
Yeah.
Both me and Jimmy DeVoy are going to run the groups every day.
Wow,
And
that's
then
great.
the other big thing that just happened, and we've been kind of keeping it on the low because we were doing a lot of back and forth, but we are opening up very, very, very soon. Joseph's House is opening sometime in August.
Yeah.
Okay. We are opening up a men and women's 12-step spiritual retreat in Marshfield, which is going to be called Revelations Retreat.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to have 22 men comfortably and 12 women. It's going to be staffed 24/7.
Wow.
So this is treatment,
It's going to be
or
a
is it
lot
like some of the other 12-step structured
it'll
facilities?
have some of that, but it was like I didn't want to just open up just another sober house or just another retreat.
Yeah.
So we've added some stuff to separate ourselves completely. And I'll leave it at that. But the website's being worked on, revelationsrecovery.com. Thank you, Bobby Wall. So yeah, we got a lot going on. We're excited. It's all owned and operated by people in long-term recovery, local guys
And if
women.
anyone's out there
That's great.
looking, you're a recovery coach, you help people get placed. How does someone get a hold of you?
Anybody can hit me up on Facebook, Derek Quirke, Quirke. You can go to the website, revelationsrecovery.com.
Joseph's house.
Beautiful.
Joseph's house. Revelations Retreat is in Marshfield. That's scheduled to open in a couple of weeks. But yeah, Facebook would probably be the easiest.
It's pretty much the easiest.
My phone number, 781-812-8206.
Yep.
You should have done that.
go.
And if you're scared,
I'm not
message the group. We can get you guys connected.
All right.
Man,
Well,
I appreciate
Good
what
stuff.
you do. You know what I mean? There's
appreciate
not
you guys.
appreciate it too. That's
it's hard out there, man.
it's fantastic.
There's definitely not enough soldiers fighting this fight.
No,
You
there's
know.
not. There's not.
Yeah.
It's tough. So, if anyone needs help, they're looking for help. LOLTerms.com.
Yep.
This Facebook group, LOL, the Life on Life's Terms podcast group. You can message us. You can message me personally, Tom personally, whatever.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
if you want to be a guest, hit us up.
Yeah, hit
Always
us up
looking for people.
Always looking. Yep. Absolutely.
We just want to get the story out there. Have people share their experience, strength, and hope, and hopefully help someone.
Spread understanding.
Yes.
So it's subscribe on iTunes. We get the audio podcast, iTunes, Google Play,
Yep.
and
That's awesome.
I think that's it. That's a wrap.
That's gonna be it.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
All right.
Nice.
How are you guys not sweating? I'm watching both of you. I'm like, I sweat so bad. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. That was a good one. I didn't realize you were doing so much to help people. That's fantastic.
Peace out.